Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to another live stream, and today we are here talking about a historic atmospheric river that is ongoing that is currently causing heavy snowfall, some extremely dangerous flooding rains, and even some damaging to hurricane force winds happening. So these threats are going to be the main associations with this storm that we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm trying to pull the radar up here, but for some reason Screen Mirror does not want to work with me, so give me just a second here to figure this out. For some reason, it's just not screen mirroring. Sorry if there was any screaming in the background in the beginning. Of course, my family had to do that as soon as I started my stream. But here we are. There should not be any more of that going on for the rest of the stream. Don't worry. And we have the radar pulled up here, and there are several interesting things to know. One of the things to note is that we are seeing some heavy snowfall mixed with heavy rain, okay? So right now, we are seeing some extremely heavy snowfall in the Carson City area, the Reno area, okay? A lot of these areas in western Nevada and eastern California are going to be looking at the heaviest snowfall for this event. We take a look at the winter storm warning here for Reno as well as Carson City. We see 1 to 2 feet of snow are possible here, snow accumulations up to 8 inches, including the valley floor in Reno, Sparks, and Carson City. So, depending on what elevation you're at, obviously you're going to see something different, but everywhere is going to be seeing a massive dumping of snow from this storm here. This is a big Sierra Nevada storm. It was even bigger earlier today, but it's still ongoing. We have Los Angeles right now under a huge flash flood warning. Would not be surprised if we saw a flash flood emergency out of this. We see additional rainfall amounts of 2 to 5 inches are possible in the warned area, and we already have up to 1 inch of rain that has fallen, and that was hours ago. So now we probably even have more rain that's fallen here in the LA area. Okay, we have a hurricane force wind warning still in effect. Earlier we had several of them, but we have one hurricane force wind warning in effect here down in southwestern California, so the winds might be there a little bit as well. Several high wind watches, wind advisories, high wind warnings in this whole area. So, definitely a pretty interesting setup here, okay? We also do have a marginal risk of severe weather here for the Sacramento area because in Western California, where it's rain instead of snow, we were actually seeing some strong to severe storms popping off earlier today. So we still have a marginal risk of severe weather there. Speaking of severe weather, we saw several large tornadoes today on the Florida-Georgia border. That was somewhat unexpected. And we still have a severe thunderstorm warning off here in Brevard County, Florida. These dangerous storms are leaving the country at the minute. But they're kind of making their last impact here on eastern and southeast Florida, going out with a bang with some damaging wind and large hail action there just over Merritt Island and Titusville, okay? So just to the north of Melbourne there, we got some pretty intense storms going on, right? And, I mean, really everywhere in the country right now is seeing some interesting weather conditions. It's warmer in the Midwest and the Northeast, like way warmer. We're seeing fire conditions down in Texas, severe weather in the Southeast, a winter storm in the Southwest. It's all pretty crazy no matter where you're at right now, okay? So the main thing I do want to focus on tonight is this Sierra Nevada storm out here in the west. So we have winter storm watches up for a good chunk here of like Arizona, Utah, and those winter storm watches are in place because these areas will see some snow down the line, but at the minute you're not seeing anything. But areas in the mountains, man, you're gonna see those multiple feet of snow being possible. Okay, but that's later down the line. Right now, what are we dealing with? Okay, one of the biggest problems is the flooding rain. We have a high risk for flash flooding today around the LA area, which is not a common thing at all. It probably happens once every few months, I would say, that we get a high risk of flash flooding, maybe even less. But we have it today, okay? So if we can turn that on, the excessive rainfall outlook here, we see in that pink area, that's our high risk of flash flooding today, okay? So from LA to Santa Barbara, you have an extremely dangerous flooding risk today. And in fact, everybody in that area almost is under a flash flood warning right now. So you are going to have to be extremely careful tonight with this dangerous flooding. Do not drive if you're in that pink area tonight. I don't care how big an emergency it is. This is worse, okay? We are seeing some intense flooding happening out there. Even like a moderate risk of flash flooding is something to be concerned about, and we have that all the way from LA okay, all the way back up to like San Jose and Francisco, okay? So even the moderate risk of flash flooding, be careful, okay? If you do get under a flash flood warning, stay inside, don't drive, okay? They say don't drive, stay alive. Stay inside, don't drive is what I would advise, okay? So there are still some heavy rainfall falling. It's not really so much that it's heavy rainfall, it's that there's so much of it that's going to fall over time. Like, it's been raining, like, all day in these areas, and it's not done. It's not even close to done. It's not going to stop anytime soon, okay? So we're going to have to really look out for it. We do not have any storms that are particularly concerning out here in this area right now. Maybe some storms up here in Northern California, but the entire state of California is going to be impacted by this storm one way or another, all right? We got winter storm warnings here for the northern part of the state. In the central part of the state, that's where you're looking at the severe weather threat. And in the southern part of the state, those are where the greatest flooding threats are, okay? So it's definitely it's a weird storm, to say the least. Not really weird, just interesting, okay? And then obviously we got our area of heavy snowfall, too, in eastern California. The snowfall is also a problem for Nevada here, all right? Nevada's seeing a lot of snow. Eventually all this rain here will turn to snow up here in northern Nevada, so be wary of that. It's already starting to change to snow, so it's definitely a pretty impactful system. Gonna go ahead and give my voice a rest here. Alright, I think I'm good to go here. We're watching this storm right now leave the Melbourne area. These impactful storms. That's, especially that large hail threat looks pretty interesting. And it's mainly just because we're right by the radar. But, I mean, these things are looking like some monsters right now. Like I said, we had several strong tornadoes today. I'm probably going to do a recap of all the damage like I did for the Texas severe weather outbreak. I would have gone live, but unfortunately I was not able to do that today. I really wish I was. There was a super big outbreak here that was, again, it was somewhat unexpected, right? We had a slight risk in southern Florida this morning, and not much really happened other than your everyday severe storms. But then, weirdly enough, whenever we had a marginal risk, and not even a risk at all for some areas, we were seeing like tons of tornado warnings, tornadoes, and even strong tornadoes here in this area that I just circled. It was interesting, alright? Like all the way from, we had a tornado go through, where was it? It was somewhere in Georgia. It was a bigger city. Valdosta, that's what it was. Like, from Valdosta down into northern Florida, back into southeastern Georgia, we had a pretty intense severe weather outbreak. I don't think it can quite be classified as a tornado outbreak. I don't think 6 tornadoes happened in that 12-hour span, and that's the classification for a tornado outbreak. But it almost got there. We saw like 4, I think. 4 or 5 tornadoes, and we may get a report of some damage later on that may confirm another one. So this could be classified as a literal tornado outbreak, which would be very surprising considering we literally only had a marginal risk for this area. And like the SPC, I feel like even after this dangerous storm started, they didn't really upgrade anything. In fact, they've downgraded it. We have a severe thunderstorm warning, but there's not a risk of severe weather here. Like, that's not supposed to happen. When you get a severe thunderstorm warning, you're supposed to have at least a marginal risk, but no, this area doesn't have any severe threat up from the Storm Prediction Center. But we've been seeing severe storms like all evening down here, and they're probably going to stop soon, but they were there, so it's confusing why they didn't do anything about it. But yeah, instead they put the marginal risk up for Central California, which has a lower severe threat in my opinion right now. I don't know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but whatever. We take a look at tomorrow's Storm Prediction Center outlook here. We have another marginal risk of severe weather here. We do not have a risk for severe weather out here in the west for this storm, but down in southern Florida, we do have that marginal risk for the Miami area. We actually had a tornado watch up for Miami this morning, but yeah. I will definitely not be going live tomorrow. I really wish I could have gone live today, but like I said, that was not an option. Not many people expected the storms to be that bad, so it was hard hard to plan a time where I could go live. We do actually have a marginal risk in Florida right now, but it's just for the Key West area, which is odd that they would put it there because there's like nothing going on there right now. I don't know. But yeah. I could talk about these red flag warnings down here in Texas. We're seeing temps up into the high 70s down here in southern Texas, and combine that with those gusty winds and the low humidity, and you've got yourself some fire danger. I believe we have an elevated fire danger today from the Storm Prediction Center. Let's turn on our fire risk here. Day 1 conditions. There we go. Good night. Yeah, we see that we do have that elevated risk there for much of southern Texas and southeastern New Mexico. But I don't know. It's not as bad as it was earlier today, and the fire threat, I think we still have an elevated risk for fire tomorrow, so just keep an eye out on that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Kind of just give a recap of what happened today. You know, what's going on right now. These storms are really starting to leave Florida here, and the warning will expire soon. So I think I'm going to hop off stream here. Sorry I was not able to look at chat this stream. If you guys did enjoy, please do click that like and subscribe button. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.